wasn't really worth it.
Okay, so after landing in Sydney, what did you think of the classes? I mean, is there anything other than what you've already told me? And I guess specifically, was there an orientation or anything that kind of helped you ease into your education there?
Yeah, there was an orientation. It was pretty good. We actually had an orientation for our entire university and then an individual orientation for our college, which is kind of the American equivalent of a dorm. So they were pretty good about helping us understand our classes and how everything was registered and set up. The only other thing about classes was that it's a little different because everyone there, they don't have the same kind of core program that we do. So I took like a low-level science class, and I was thinking it was going to be like a class at Marist that was pretty simple, basic science, but everyone there who was taking the science class was actually a science major. Pretty much, there were only a few that were not, so the content is more directed at people who are really into it, so that was a little more difficult.
Yeah, I would say that, and also the grading system was a big issue because like here at Marist, as long as you do well enough, we're used to getting A's and A minuses as long as we work hard. But there, it's very rare to get an A. You need to be completely perfect. They don't like giving
They build grades up
the equivalent to an A. Yeah. So I think that was a big issue is compared to other people studying abroad or people in our grade who stayed here for the semester, they were receiving the normal A's, A minuses, B pluses, where we were working just as hard, if not harder, to just get B's. So I think that was an issue too. But the orientation was definitely done really well. They really did explain everything pretty much you needed to know in the first week. So
the grading system in general too was different because it wasn't A, B, C, D. They had credit plus. I don't even remember what they are anymore. But it was just a completely different system. And the whole deducting thing, if you were to do a paper, here it would be like, oh, 5 points off because you missed this. And in Australia you might do a paper and there would be no marks, you got no points off for anything, and so you wonder why you did it wrong, but it wasn't necessarily that you left anything out, it was just they expected you to wow them on a certain level, and so it was like you had to build your grade up instead of just getting points off for things you did wrong.
Right, high expectations for everyone.
Yeah.
So did you have any specific expectations when you got there? Were you, stressed out about how different it might be? And, did anything help you relieve your stress?
I was obviously nervous to meet new people. Expectations-wise, I'd say it met and exceeded my expectations. One thing that I didn't expect that did happen was that we met so many people from different countries and made such good friends with them, and I wasn't expecting that. We came back here with best friends from Holland and Spain and Norway and Canada and all over, which is something that I think was great compared to our friends who went to other places and just made friends with either other Marist people or other Americans, and we really made great friends with so many different people, and that was awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's more of a positive thing. I didn't expect to make friends so quickly. And where we live, the residency we lived in, as soon as you get there, it's all about community activities and everyone meeting each other. And like Leslie said, I knew we would meet other Americans and even Australians, which would be really cool and exciting. But we also, one of our best friends is from Holland, Norway, so Canada, so that was really cool as well.
Yeah, and just the culture in general, too, the way that people interact, it's just much more friendly. We lived in that dorm, and there were maybe 200 of us, and there'd be a group of 100 kids that would go out in a night, and we would all go out together, and there's much more mixing here. Maybe juniors and seniors might intermingle, but there 18-year-olds are friends with 23-year-olds, and they get along fine, and everyone really encourages everyone to have fun together, and it's less cliquey, I'd say.
Yeah, much less cliquey.
Yeah.
So if Australia wasn't appealing enough, there you go. So what about your favorite place to eat?
Well, we had dorm food, so we ate that on a daily basis, but we went out a lot too. There was a center right across from where our college was that's kind of the equivalent of a mall, so they had a lot of places to eat. There was one Thai place in the town over from us called Chatswood.
It was called Thai Break. Really that was the best Thai food I've ever had, so that was really good.
Eating in the city was always good. Eating down by the water.
By the Sydney Harbor.
Pancakes on the Rock. Yeah, the Sydney Harbor. Any places down there were really good. Australia is different, a little different from other places you might study abroad because it's not specific. Like Italian is all Italian food. There's such a mix. You could find really anything you want. Mexican food, Thai food, Chinese food, American French, really anything you want. So there were a lot of good places to eat.
Okay, is there any specific food or drink you feel like people have to try if they're going to Australia specifically?
Yeah, definitely. Although like kangaroo like wasn't my favorite, I feel like when are you gonna get that opportunity? And I definitely don't regret trying it at all. It's actually kind of similar to steak, so I would definitely say to just do it. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat a lot of it, but.
Yeah, we tried both kangaroo and crocodile on a pizza one time.
Yeah,
and
that was
crocodile was
good.
kind of sort of like chicken, a little bit tougher, but like chicken, and kangaroo was like steak a little bit. And then what else? What to drink?
Oh, I would say the different kinds of Australian beers.
Yeah.
Trying to think of.
That's true. We had a lot of pure.
Oh,
Blonde,
Strongbow was really
Ruby,
good. Pure
Ruby,
Blonde.
Strongbow.
Yeah.
They have
Definitely.
really good coffees. Like all of their coffee shops. It's very different from here, the way you order it, but they have so many different kinds, and they're all really good.
Oh yeah, their iced coffee is not like American iced coffee. If you order an iced coffee, it has ice cream in it.
Yeah, it's
So that was
coffee
good.
with ice cream in it.
Yeah.
They had a lot of bubble tea there, and that's where I know they have that here too. But that's where I first got into bubble tea. That was really good.
Well, that's a lot.
Other foods. Oh, you have to try meat pies if you go there, and Vegemite. Vegemite is like that salty spread that people try.
Yeah. You should try
One time
it.
I tried it, I hated it. The other time I tried it, it was okay. But you have to try it while you're there.
So, did you have a favorite place that you like to go out with your friends on weekends or?
Well, our school, there were two specific places, like right in our town around where we lived. One was the University Bar, and then the other was just a bar that was down the street from us. But we also loved to go out in the city. I mean, the city was really, really close. Like, you hopped on the train, it was like 25 minutes into the city, short ride, and we loved to go. George Street is a big street that everyone likes to
Jackson's on George. I would say it's
We've been
probably
there
one
the
of my
most.
favorite places in the city, but there was so many.
Going out by the harbor is really nice too. King's Cross in the city. There are a lot of nice bars, and they're all it's a lot different from here. They're very classy. Like, you can't wear ripped jeans, no flip flops. Pretty much any place you go in Australia, if you're going
in
out,
the city, especially
in cities, you can't. You have to dress decently.
To play
especially
dress
guys.
up. Okay, so is there any place that you feel like future abroad students going to Sydney have to absolutely visit? They can't pass by an opportunity to go somewhere.
Sydney. Well, I mean, the city itself, make sure you explore it, and explore it a lot. Like, go there all the time, like, if you can. Any day you're bored and you have nothing to do, go into the city, because it's so beautiful, and there's so many attractions that you can go to, for free. Like, go hang out in the gardens, go to the park, go down by the Opera House, just being near it.
You should definitely do a harbor cruise. I feel like you really get the best views of the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Tower, and it's beautiful. I would definitely
go to Melbourne or Melbourne for the Americans. That was really great. I loved it. Another great city. And then right outside of Melbourne is the Great Ocean Road, and that was really pretty. We loved that. The 12 Apostles and Lockhart Gorge.
I would say the biggest thing, though, is no matter what part of Australia you're studying in, to try to get to Cairns and do the Great Barrier Reef, scuba dive in the Great Barrier Reef.
When you're down there, you have to.
I would
We
say
did it
that's
twice,
definitely
and it was awesome.
in my top experience.
We also went to New Zealand, and I know it's not feasible for everyone to get there, but it was amazing. Being able to go down there, since we were already down on that side of the world, it was so pretty, and that's where we did a lot of stuff. Like, that was like our adventure trip.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So what about, was there a place that you always went for a really good deal on something?
They had a lot of markets everywhere. You know? Like, if you wanted to get souvenirs, if you wanted to get cheap clothes, anything, Paddy's Market was the biggest one in Sydney, but pretty much any either beach town or major city you went to had markets.
I liked the beach. Bondi Beach and Manly Beach are the closest beaches to Macquarie University. That's where you would go pretty much. And both of them would randomly on like Saturdays, or they would like advertise a day, have markets, and I really like those markets a lot.
Yeah. Also the mall or Mac Center right near us, they had some stores that had some good deals too. So.
Okay, were any of those places really good to get souvenirs to bring home?
Paddy's Markets.
Yeah, that was the best place. Yeah.
Best place.
They had pretty much anything and everything you could want. They're huge huge markets.
Okay, so everything sounds amazing. Is there any place that you thought was maybe a little bit overhyped? Something that if students had to pick, they might, skip?
I would say as far as any place that was recommended to me in Sydney or that we went to, we pretty much enjoyed. I don't remember any place being overhyped, but as far as traveling to other parts, I would say if you could get to a lot of places, then do them all. But I would say we went to Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast, and that was a little bit overhyped. I definitely think Cairns, Melbourne, the Whitsundays, Byron Bay are all a lot more. I would go to them first.
Yeah, it just wasn't that different from, any of the beaches that we went to around us. And the nightlife was okay, but it wasn't anything.
Yeah.
We didn't find it was anything special,
Okay, so all in all, what do you think is the best piece of advice you can give someone who's thinking about going abroad?
Oh, God. Not to waste any days sitting around because it goes by so quick. And there will be so many things you'll be like, oh, I wish we had time to do that. And there were some days where, like you get lazy and we would sit in our dorms all day and like hang out with our friends, which is obviously it was great to like make such strong friendships with these new people, but we should have gone out more, like gone into the city more.
I would say definitely be open to new experiences. Like we bungee jumped and skydived. Skydiving we were planned, but I never thought I would bungee jump.
Yeah, that's something I said.
And it was the spur of the moment. We booked it the day of, and we just did it. And I definitely be open to new experience, open to new different kinds of people, and also to definitely do your research. And if you can find people who went, if not to the same program specifically, but at least to the same place you're going, just reach out to them, like ask them, because it really helped so much, I would say.
And coming from us, they're going to love to talk about it. Even people ask us still, we want to tell people, we want to tell them where to go, what to do, what not to do, how to book stuff.
I talked to about 4 or 5 people who had gone to Australia, and then 2 specifically who had done the same exact program that I was doing, and it really was helpful.
It's helpful, but that and just be adventurous.
Okay, well, thanks so much for sharing your experience. Really appreciate it. And that's it.